The Taylor neighborhood has an increasing number of disturbances, including 4 teenage girls arrested earlier this week. Neighbors and police are working together to find a solution, but several factors are complicating matters. We're coming back to you with some breaking news. This is a live look from Connecticut, where a small plane hit a house a short time ago. Rescue crews say 3 people are missing, including children ages 1 and 13.
Soggy April weather is going to stick around for a while.
Definitely. Last week I had on my flip-flops and shorts, and now
that seems like such a long time ago.
Exactly. Thanks so much, Jennifer. Okay, well, there are people in the corridor who claim to see the future and talk to the dead. And at a psychic open house, you have the chance to meet them in person. So this morning, we sent Josh Scheinblum to put their skills to the test. Flash flooding across Iowa is causing many people to run from the rising waters. Both Saturday and Sunday, rangers evacuated more than 80 campers from Yellow River State Forest due to flooding concerns. The Department of Natural Resources reports 3.5 inches of rain fell into the area. 2 people are dead after a stunt plane crashed during an air show in Ohio. The stunt plane was flying upside down while a wing walker walked on top of it. It's been a very busy 24 hours for police here. I'm going to step out the shot so you can see the house where the suspect, 33-year-old Kevin Ambrose, was arrested. Instead of rushing in, you take a flotation device like this and you throw it at them. It's hard work, even just trying to lift one of them. Oh, it's about, each bag is about 50 to 60 pounds. A truck this size, like the one behind me, can cause a lot more damage than, let's just say, the average size car. The tennis court at Knoll Ridge Park is not one of these places. It's pretty empty here, and that's because most of the folks I spoke with today say it's just way too hot. Some of these weeds are just as tall or even a little bit taller than I am. On a day where temperatures are near 100, the double installation of their gear makes those temperatures even higher. There are 5 cameras throughout the simulator to help researchers record every move the driver makes, mainly paying attention to what's happening in front of them and behind them. The first step for seniors is to create a profile, which shows off their best qualities and interests and hopefully helps them find someone who has some of them in common.
She joins us now live with the latest on the investigation. Kim.
Well, Tiffany, it's been a very busy 24 hours for police here. I'm going to step out the shot so you can see the house where the suspect, 33-year-old Kevin Ambrose, was arrested. Police say Ambrose surrendered and came out quietly from the home around 2:30. Both residents in this neighborhood and where the shooting happened are in shock. Police blocked off this street around 2 o'clock, ordering neighbors to evacuate. Less than 24 hours after a double shooting, police were in the process of arresting 33-year-old Kevin Ambrose.
That cop came with just like a big gun, and I'm like, I don't know, it scared me. I mean, I'm innocent. I don't know what's going on.
Around 7 o'clock Wednesday night, police got a call from a woman who said she'd been shot. They found 33-year-old Marlene Buss shot outside her home on Newell Street. Her mother, 59-year-old Kay Straw, was inside, also shot, and was rushed to the hospital where she later died.
It wasn't a random act.
Police say the shooting was likely the result of a domestic dispute. Just hours before it happened, Ambrose was given a court order to stay away from Buss, who had repeatedly called 911.
We had 3 or 4 calls up in that area with concerns about that residence.
Was it from calls from the daughter, or?
I believe it was, yes.
Those living nearby are stunned.
Never heard them yell, scream at each other, never arguing. All I ever seen was him out doing the yard, and they were barbecuing and the kids playing, but never. That's why it's surprising.
And Straw's co-workers at St. Vincent de Paul can't believe what happened.
She'll be missed. She'll be missed every day.
Now, police tell me there was also a woman in the apartment during Ambrose's arrest. She was also taken into custody, but police say they don't believe she was connected to the shooting. In Waterloo, Kim Wynne, CBS 2 News. What we're being told right now is that there are 6 officers on the ground in this area, knocking, going door to door, just trying to help folks get prepared. There haven't been any evacuations ordered just yet, but they are just trying to help people prepare in case there is one, helping them get go bags ready in case they need to get medicine or clothes together, just in case there is an evacuation. And this is why, just over the last few hours, probably since about 11 o'clock, these waters have risen substantially. It's almost 2 feet in some areas, all up and down Ellis Boulevard, if you just follow where my hand is going. And I haven't spoken to any residents who have had flooding yet, but one woman says the waters are so high by her home, she fears it could happen at any moment.
It's going to be in my house if this keeps coming. My sidewalk's covered already.
Dawn Langham couldn't believe what she saw when she looked out her window.
Keep peeking downstairs to see if it's coming up through the basement.
Floodwater, more than 2 feet deep, is wrapped around her home on the corner of Ellis Boulevard.
It'll be knee deep, right down there.
And so high, cars going down Ellis were almost completely covered. City crews are working hard to pump the water overflowing from storm sewers. Officials say the flood is caused by ice jamming the Cedar River, stopping water from getting out.
We're considering this about a 15-foot flood stage.
Besides pumping the water, the city is also blocking off most of Ellis Boulevard, using standpipes and sandbags to keep the water from damaging homes. And mostly asking folks to stay out of the water.
Don't drive through it. Just give the crews a chance to do what they need to do.
So that people like Dawn and other residents who survived the floods of 2008
Here we go again.
can have peace of mind.
It'll go down.
Now, if you take a look right over my shoulder, you see one of those city crews working right now, pumping the water. They say they'll be out here round the clock, so they'll be working through the night, trying to clear up this problem. They say they don't know how long it'll take to get all this water from the area. So we'll keep you guys posted. We're covering the corridor in Cedar Rapids. Kim Wynne, CBS 2 News. Many of Iowa's small towns have been affected by the war in Iraq or Afghanistan. You can see memorials like this one next to me and others all throughout Lisbon honoring those who lost their lives, including one many call a hometown hero, Sergeant Terrell Pasker. For David and Mary Pasker, the sanctuary at River of Life Church brings back painful memories.
It was the final of everything of his life.
The last time they sat here was to say goodbye to their son. Sergeant First Class Terrell Pasker was killed in Afghanistan in 2011.
As far as the grieving aspect of it, I'm still doing that.
Nearly 2 years later, they've kept his spirit alive through pictures, scrapbooks, and fond memories.
He ate 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm hungry, feed me. As long as he's fed, he was happy.
The Paskers are one of dozens of Iowa families still healing from the loss of a loved one who was killed in Iraq and Afghanistan. And each death, like Sergeant Pasker's, has left a wound in the small towns that they came from.
The memorial that they have is actually set up over at the school, outside of the gym at the high school.
Mike Kleinsmith was Pasker's 7th and 9th grade social studies teacher.
You hear about casualties of war and you always think and assume it'll happen somewhere else. And so when it finally happened here in our own backyard, it was quite a tragedy.
He says the impact of Pasker's death is still felt in Lisbon, where he went to school. The district uses this memorial outside of Lisbon High School to honor Pasker's life.
I would hope that our schools would stress the importance and the sacrifice of what young men like Terry gave to our country and to our hometown.
A sacrifice his parents call bittersweet.
Knowing that he died, but yet knowing he did what he wanted to do. He just chose to be with the troops.
For now, they'll continue to lean on their faith, knowing that one day they'll be able to see their son again.
I'll get that chance someday.
Now, this July marks the 2-year anniversary of Pasker's death. The family says they'll be holding a family reunion on that day to celebrate his life. We're covering the corridor in Lisbon. Kim Wynne, CBS 2 News. When you think of Iowa's countryside, a few things probably come to mind. Of course, there are the cows and seemingly endless fields of corn and soybeans. But look a little closer. You may see something you haven't noticed before, like this version of the 1930s American Gothic, but on a barn, or rows and rows of barns decorated with bright, colorful patterns. I decided to crack the mystery for myself, hopping in my car for a trip through rural Iowa, hoping to find out what's behind the art on Iowa barns. It took a lot of knocking and waiting before I got some answers.
We felt like it was, historical preservation to signify these barns by putting a barn quilt on it.
In Washington, I found colorful painted quilts like these on nearly every barn.
You have some people that actually think there's cloth quilts that we put up on the barn. It's like, no. They're painted and they're on there permanently.
In 2006, Kathy Ebert and her 97-year-old mother, Marie, painted this quilt high up on their family barn.
I picked out the colors that I really liked. I felt very proud to think that I was taking part in this.
It's called the Prairie Queen, named after the farm that's been in Kathy's family since the 1930s.
It's very important that people understand that there's a strong family tradition in farming and the farm and everything that's involved with it.
A tradition Kathy and other farmers wanted to keep alive, so she formed a barn quilt group in 2006 that travels through Washington County. There are more than 220 of these painted quilts throughout Washington County alone. And to the owners of the barnyards and the farming community, the paintings are much more than just pretty pictures.
We feed the world. It's like, if you don't have farmers, you don't eat. People don't realize that. We want to preserve the history of the barns and preserve the barns.
In Elkader, a different kind of barn art is keeping that same tradition alive. Would you say that this is, would you call it a hobby or an obsession?
Yeah, both, I guess.
Hal Colliver's love of Iowa farm life can be seen for miles, literally. Hundreds of signs and symbols of rural Iowa hang from the 3 barns on his farm.
I'm just trying to preserve some of Americana like it used to be.
The former truck driver and pig farmer started collecting signs of farm life in the 1970s. He's picked up some signs along the road, but they're mainly from
auctions or flea markets.
Each barn is kind of like a museum, detailing farming history. For example, this one is a tribute to Iowa corn, decorated from top to bottom in seed corn signs. In another barn, antique farming equipment.
They used to haul grain and hogs in them, cattle. 1930 was the year it was made.
So there's no great mystery here.
It's just stuff I love, I really do.
Iowa's painted barns are reminders of roots and tradition and family. In Washington County, Kim Wynne, CBS 2 News.